Blue Lock chapter 308 is out, and we've got plotting from the JFA president, and Japan versus France in the group stages. And Nagi is also coming back, but we already knew that. And Sai is trying to get his lick back. This is what it's all about, the smoke. But let's get into the rest of the chapter and see what we got going on. The chapter starts off with a big grin on the JFA president's face as Buratsuta meets up with Nagi. What is bro cooking up? This is the face of a tier 1 schemer. If he didn't have that umbrella, he'd probably be rubbing his hands together. Obviously Nagi couldn't anticipate this, as he already left Blue Lock behind him. Nagi of course looks back at bro like,
wait a minute, who are you?
Obviously someone like Nagi who didn't even know pro footballers' names wouldn't know the JFA chairman. He just don't care like that. But that's also the reason why he didn't make it into the top 23. Buratsuta looking like a tier 1 villain, pulling up behind the MC ready to throw hands. Buratsuta starts talking about crushing ego, and at this point, he still can't see that it ain't gonna happen. How stubborn can one old man be? Nagi looks back at him with his lifeless eyes, trying to make me shed a tear, but that won't happen. I'm not that invested. So he tells Nagi that he's talented and should be confused as to how he didn't make it. Then Buratsuta drops the bomb. He pushes the red button. He says that the max number of U20 players ain't 23, but actually 26. I mean, I initially thought it was 21, so what do I know? But back when BLTV was approved, Buratsuta said in exchange, he'll choose the last 3 players. This obviously left space for Sai to make it regardless. But who would make up the other 2 spots? With the current situation, Nagi could take one, and the other could be a player we are yet to see. Please don't bring back another dropout. So the 26 players taking part in the U20 World Cup will consist of the 23 Blue Lock players and 3 selected by the JFA chairman, and one of those could be Nagi. Looking at the shock on Nagi's face, bro is like, damn, I'm about to get a contract after going undrafted. This is how dreams are made.
Come on, man. That's too easy.
His big plan is for Nagi to outshine the other Blue Lock players and push Ego to resign so he can take over the reins. So let me get this straight. Bro's Japan team failed to beat Blue Lock, so now he's trying to take Blue Lock? Some people just have no hope. No amount of plotting will give him the jump on Ego, as we see him with an octopus aura, which is an interesting choice, but it does make sense for the type of person Buratsuta is. He's trying to suck all he can out of Nagi, pause, and camouflage with the crowd as he tries to integrate into the team. Nagi could actually return to Blue Lock. What a plot twist. Nagi thinks to himself and decides to reject his offer because Ego's decisions can't be wrong. Buratsuta left in shock because his plan could be falling apart if Nagi doesn't take the offer. Ego is the one who created Blue Lock and drew out their egos. Nagi just failed to build on from that point, so it's his fault that he dropped out. This sounds like madness to Buratsuta. How could a kid that just wants to play football reject such an offer? But Nagi says that it is because of Ego that Blue Lock has the passion that it has. He doesn't think he can betray them. The aura and stress on Buratsuta's face as Nagi just kicked his plan into the dirt. There's nothing he can do to change Nagi's mind, as he receives a phone call from a certain someone. Itoshi Sai tells him that the groups for the U20 World Cup have already been decided. Japan will be in Group A, and they will play the African giants Nigeria, the home of football England, and the nation that currently holds probably the best under-20 player, France. Japan will play against Julian LAKEY in the group stages of the U20 World Cup. This is the group of death. This is when we're told that Sai would be one of the 3 players that will be included, as if it weren't obvious. For the sake of revenue, Sai has to be there and help them get past the group stages. But Sai rejects the plan of him playing in the group stages and only wants to play against Spain, and all to get his leg back on Bunny Iglesias. This reminds me of Kuribayashi joining the tournament in Qatar just to play Barcelona and get his leg back on Damien. Seems like Barcelona know how to create demons. There may be a chance for Sai to change his mind though, because of the emergence of France in Group A. That could be a game he ends up playing because of its magnitude. Sai has a dream to fulfill, even at the expense of Blue Lock. And that is the type of ego needed for this moment, as it seems that Nagi does not possess that, as he is unwilling to betray Blue Lock. As the U20 World Cup is full of speculation, a new future will open only to those who want victory. Nagi just keeps pump faking his fans and rage baiting his haters. Will he return or will he fade away? It's still up in the air. In my opinion, I think he'll be back in Blue Lock, which is kinda sad because it takes away from the moment he was eliminated. They already did it with Kunigami, and now they're going to do it with Nagi. And for me personally, I don't really care about Kunigami anymore, and that could end up being Nagi as well. But looking back at the U20 World Cup, Japan being in the group of death is along the lines of what I expected, since they'd want to make a statement of how good the team has become. How many points could they actually accumulate by the end of this? Maybe a loss against France and 2 wins against England and Nigeria? Or maybe they'll draw to England, which could see them tied second on goal difference, leading them to play the winner of Group B, which could be Spain or Germany. This leaves one question though. Is Sai ducking the LAKEY fade? Now hold on, that's just what it looks like. I'm not saying that he's scared of him, but why would he not want to play against one of the best players in the tournament? Just think about that for a second. We also might get a chance to see the new Gen 11 player from France. Since it's apparently not Julian LAKEY, that team might actually be stacked. And we'll get to see England's new Gen 11 player. It could probably be a centre back or a full back. And if we're going to be seeing the other new gen players, I'm guessing they're gonna also show chapters of the other games that Japan is not taking a part in, because they won't be able to play every single team that has a new gen player. Maybe games like Germany versus Morocco or Germany versus China will be shown, just so we could get a look at how Kaiser and Ness are doing and how they are progressing. Because the semi-final or the final could be Japan versus Germany. That's what I'm looking forward to. But this was a really good chapter overall, so I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10, leaning more to an 8.5. And we'll see what happens in the next chapter. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.